are.
I was like, well, it's a good thing that I'm very new to this and we're testing it out. And look I didn't do so bad.
You did not.
9%.
Winning. I would say
Winning.
winning.
Well, okay. I'm so happy that we're starting our lives today, Tuesday, on the 19th of March. What a beautiful day. Happy birthday, cousin. I love you. My cousin, Kieran. Happy birthday. And happy birthday to anybody else who's out there. So we'll start seeing comments and people joining. And all right. So thank you. We're back here today to talk. Let's talk about sex. I am Stephanie, your host, and I have Shiloh Hobby with Love Your O. Thank you, Shiloh, for joining me.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
And of course, the funniest topic is sex talk A to Z. Love that. That's so cool. I mean, here's the deal. People are starting to talk about sex. It's starting to come out and it's awesome. So if we can just take on one topic at a time, A to Z, and like we talked about today, we could do after sex talk, we could just do BDSM, A to Z, all those other ones to really help educating people because that's really what we're about. And
people want to know.
What?
People want to know.
It's so funny because, okay, I'm out on the other night. I went out by myself. My mom said for St. Patty's Day, go out by yourself, meet some friends, have a beer. I had the best time. I went by myself. I left with 12 friends, some marriage proposals, some FDWB proposals, other proposals. So much fun. And I will tell you, everyone, we were talking about sex. I said, we're going to be talking about sex and live. And they're like, and everyone's eyes are like, really? Really? Like people want to know and they're afraid to ask. So
yes, they want
you
good
can ask us anything. And so you can ask us anything. Anyone, I know people are shy, so we may not have very many. So here I'm going to ask you some things because today we're doing A is our alphabet for the day. I wish I could do A for alphabet. I'm going to have to get some kind of A for anal.
A for anal.
A for anal.
A is for anal.
Anal sex. I love it. It's like, if we're going to start, let's start out with a bang.
Right. We're going to get right down and dirty here. And let's just talk about the hard stuff.
I love it. Okay, but I have some myths and I want your help here. Hold on.
All right, let's talk about some myths real quick and then we'll tell you the real stuff.
Okay, cool. So this is a myth. People say people who enjoy anal sex are perverted or werverted, like we are werverts, or they're abnormal.
I guess first and foremost, sex is a judgment-free zone, to each their own. Everybody likes what they like. And anal sex is just another form of sex. It's another orgasm waiting to happen for everyone.
And that's the thing, another orgasm waiting to happen. I think when people say, are you a pervert or you're a wervert or whatever that is, because girls are werverts, as we know, and guys, they call our perverts.
Okay.
That's what I heard on Slut Ever. I love her, Carly. Anyway, my point is that, you know what? There's so many variations. And that's what I learned when I went to San Francisco State University studying variations in human sexuality. And that was what started my whole life of wanting to do this. I saw it all. Guys that got turned on by a pie being thrown in his face, and he brought the pies for us to do all different kinds of things. I could go on and on and on, even weird little fetishes and things like that, in which I know Carly covers a lot. We will be covering some. to me, it's all in the eyes of what we know and how willing are we allowed to let our bodies get to where we really want to be, which is fully free and open to have a truly amazing sexual experience. And we're just not taught that. So
No,
thank you. You're right.
we are
Okay.
not taught that.
Oh, anal sex is a sure way to get HIV.
Well, I mean, unprotected sex is a sure way to get HIV. So, I mean, I guess that take it in context. I mean, doesn't matter which hole you put it in. If you have HIV and you're sharing it with your partner and unprotected sex, unprotected sex, unprotected sex.
Right. Now, I know the studies show that, in the anus, the membranes are a little bit more softer and or more delicate. So when they break and the transmission of disease, I get all that. I mean, I worked with AIDS patients for the first 5 years of going to college. But my point is, you're right. You can get it anyway. And
Mhm.
that is called a myth for a reason.
It
It's not
is,
true.
and it's fed on the scared thing. I mean, when the AIDS epidemic did start with homosexual men.
Yes,
So that is where that, myth came from. But ultimately, no, you don't have to be any sexual orientation to, you know, have unprotected sex and contract HIV, AIDS,
exactly.
any
Anytime.
STDs. So yeah, absolutely.
And that's why talking about the myths, because we are in a world of what we only know what we know, and
Mhm.
we tell that to our kids and to the people around us. And when we know more, we do better. And so now,
Exactly.
if we can teach people, we can do better in life. That's how I look
Absolutely.
at it.
Absolutely. I agree with
Um,
you.
we don't need to use condoms during anal sex if you're in a monogamous relationship.
Well, okay, so I'm not going to call that a myth. What I will say is that in regards to condoms, when you're having anal sex, it is a good protection to use that, especially since going back and forth, you don't want to have, you don't want to go back to penis and vagina sex after you've had penis and anal sex because you're spreading feces. So
Right.
that's like where the purpose of a condom can come into play, because if you use a condom when you're having anal sex, then you remove it and the penis is still clean. You can go back to penis and
Right.
vagina sex. So
But the other one you could do, just FYI, you could also go clean up, which I've seen and read
oh
and
right,
heard
you
and
can
done.
clean up. You just don't want to go back and forth immediately. Yes, you can go clean up, but the thing is you want to make sure that you're cleaning up.
You're clean. Love it.
Absolutely.
And you're so right, because that's perfect. Okay. Here's a myth. Anal sex cannot lead to orgasm. Wrong.
Well, that's a big old myth.
That's a big old myth.
That's a big old falsehood. So yes, there's all kinds of amazing orgasms that can come out of that. So yeah, I think we
For
should,
male and female.
for both. I think we should talk about anal sex.
Okay, we're gonna be
Let's
doing
get
that.
away from
Okay,
the
so
myth. Let's stop talking about myths and start talking about
okay.
the truth.
All right, so let's okay, so then why okay, I know it's pleasurable. So why do people find it scary but pleasurable?
So I mean, I think that most females or most anybody that's had the penis and vagina sex, there's been that slip up. And that slip up was completely, and everybody just kind of cringed. I know you did because you've all had it, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Were you just like, "Wrong hole?" Like, what the hell?
Scary,
So
scary.
that's very, So when you think about that, it's like, no, because that's the immediate thought that comes into your mind when you think about that, right? I mean, if you've never done it before, or you've never willingly done it, that's what you're thinking about. You're remembering
100%.
you're remembering that time. It's PTSD.
And it
And
is
rightfully
it's like
so. Because that shit hurt. It hurt. I mean, come on.
it hurt.
It
Yeah.
hurt. It hurt. There was no preparation. It hurt. So,
And you go, yeah,
I
that's
think that,
painful.
and
It's a
it is
memory
taboo.
everyone has.
And ultimately, though, it is taboo. It is, and even historically speaking, we'll get into some fun historical facts later on, but even historically speaking, it's always been, kind of taboo. It's never been something that is just like, okay, you're doing that, and it's not.
No,
Only
no.
more recently, although interestingly enough, it is becoming more popular among the younger sex people,
Oh,
the
and
teenagers
what?
and such,
Oh,
because
why?
they do that instead of P and B to avoid pregnancy, or
Oh.
as we were discussing, to keep their virginity intact.
Right. I was mentioning to you that I had a gentleman that was dating a girl, and she was in college, though. She had
Mhm.
never had sex and said, "Hey, I only do anal." And he's like, "What? Like, you only what?" He goes, "Yeah, I only do anal because I'm going to be a virgin for my husband." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, I think that's very interesting. I think you're right. People are using that as another form.
I think there's more people that are having it that don't talk about it because it is a taboo
Yeah,
subject. And so
such a
that's why
taboo.
we're here today too, to talk about it, because let's talk about it so you can do it safely.
What are the key things to keep in mind for a safe and enjoyable experience?
So initially, first, communication. You want to, this isn't something you're just going to decide that you're going to do. You need to, there's also preparation to this, but you want to talk to your partner about this. You're not just going to do this and be
This is
like,
not
okay,
just
honey, let
like,
me pull you over.
hey,
We're doing this. Like,
yeah,
that's not happening. Like,
no,
you need to have a conversation with them prior to make sure that they're on the same page with doing this and trying this.
right,
Have a glass of wine, relax. Relaxation is
totally.
key for this. You want to make sure that you're very relaxed. Please don't be trashed. You don't want to be drunk. You want to remember. Plus, you want to be safe. And, drinking leads to unsafe activities, especially on this. So don't try, when you're drunk,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
because it could lead to some not so pleasant experiences.
Yeah,
But
because you wouldn't feel the pain until the next day, and then it could be really painful.
right,
So
it
yeah,
could be.
it's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
you could definitely do some damage if you're not, especially if you're not used to it. You don't know,
right.
and it's your first time. I mean, yeah, you don't want to experiment with it. Being drunk, but have
No,
a glass of wine or two. Just be relaxed.
yeah,
Just so that, because the tenser you are, the more things hurt. Because
yeah.
ultimately, the reason why anal play hurts so much is because the sphincter muscle is designed to keep everything up. So it keeps all of your organs up. Your intestines, your stomach, all of that is kept up, and it doesn't fall out because sphincter muscle is there keeping it all in.
Interesting.
Because I
Good.
mean, you think about the body and
Yeah,
how it works. I mean, your waste is coming out,
yeah,
so you have the sphincter muscle very, very tight. So relaxation is key. You
yeah.
want to relax, you want communication to happen. Lubrication is the other shun word that we need. So we have preparation, communication, lubrication.
Okay, well, let's talk about the prep work. So we got the communication down. We're going to sit down. We're going to have a conversation about how we're going to do this. And in that conversation, we're going to talk about prep. What does that look like?
So, I mean, you definitely want to, like, I think one of the big things that comes up is, obviously the mess, right? I mean, we're talking about the rectum. This is where the poop comes out. So,
Yeah, it's not a very pleasant area. But if it's cleaned out before you do, it's
but so
good.
I mean, there are some things. So one, most natural, um, if you use the restroom, you have your bowel movement, and when you wipe, if it's clean, your tract is clean. If you have any
Okay.
residue on there, if you have any residue whatsoever on there, your tract is not clean. But
Okay.
no residue, it's clean. Amazingly enough, the human body is an amazing, amazing machine, y'all.
Agree.
We know that the vagina is self-cleaning, and kind of does its own, takes care of everything down there and takes care of
Yes.
balancing everything out and making everything amazing, right? Well,
Yes.
the rectum is kind of the same way, in the fact of like it's actually very clean.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised to hear that because it was just like so like
You're
really,
like, it's so disgusting.
but
Yeah.
okay, all right. So, but anyhow, yeah. So, fun facts. Also, so and then
If
you
the track isn't clean, if the
if you're
track
worried,
isn't, oh, yeah.
so and if you are worried, I mean, I will say, there's always going to be, the chance of there's being some feces. I mean, in your backdoor play, this is what you're messing with, right? This is what
Hello,
you're.
no pun
But
intended.
there are also the anal douches, which is essentially just taking water and like shooting up your butt to rinse it all out and clean it all out. So there's that.
Very nice.
So you can also do that to, be extra
Yeah.
safe. So
Okay, that's
great.
good. Okay, so we got the prep down.
We got the
All
prep.
right.
So you're gonna talk to your partner about this, and
prep it up.
it was so your communication. You want to talk to your partner. You want to let them know. First and foremost, when you're thinking about trying to talk anybody into doing anything that you want to try, is you want to play up the benefits for them, right? So
Absolutely. And
so
so here's the thing is that this is good because a lot of women would not in their brain because of the PTSD that we had does not correlate that to fun to oh yeah I'm gonna have pleasure at when you're doing that they're
and they've seen porn.
Yeah. And then you're like,
I mean, and they're like, no, like there's no way in the world that anybody's going to do that to me. So, I mean,
honestly, we've done a really horrible job at showing women that they do not want to do this shit. So no wonder they're freaked out.
it's kind of out there. So, okay. So, well, why for women? So should we talk about women or men first? Because
Let's talk about women first. Because I want to talk about men, and I love that you want to talk about that because I'm big on the prostate massage and I'm big on that. But back to the female because I want to get them more relaxed about wanting to at least try it. Okay. Prep. So here's a prep that I think that I'd love you to mention. If they can work on not getting that in their mind, and then maybe they work on numbing that area.
So there are not necessarily numbing, but there are relaxation creams that do work and that will help with relaxing that muscle and make it more comfortable.
I heard oral gel. Okay. Swear. Somebody says oral gel. I'm like, all right.
I don't know that I would want oral gel on my butthole, but okay.
I've done it. It was fine. It numbed it. And my point is that just relax yourself,
Relaxing is key. And I like and actually, like, I will say, not a plug for any brands or anything, but Pure Romance has a Booty Ease, which is a relaxing cream. And it is, I think in comparison to some of the other brands out on the market,
you love it
much better.
Much better
from a relaxation standpoint. So
that's great.
Just a thought on that. But
okay. And she's not selling. We're just telling you that if you want to go. If that's a great one. Hold on one more. Lubrication. Sorry, I beeped out for a minute.
Oh, lubrication is very, very important. So here's the thing about lubrication.
Yes.
And the one thing that the key factor about lubrication that you need to keep in mind is that not all lubrication is equal. Not all lubrication is created the same. There are two different kinds of lubrication. So here's our quick lubrication education, everyone. So we have a normal everyday play, great for water-based lubricant. The other type of lubricant that we have is our silicone lubricant. Silicone-based lubricant is going to stay on top of the tissues, whereas a water-based lubricant is going to absorb into the tissues. You do not want your lubricant to absorb into your tissues if you are having anal play. The reason being is it will dry up and it will not be comfortable, right?
Yes.
More lubrication is always better. So a silicone lubricant is definitely your best bet. It is going to stay on top of the tissue. It is not going to absorb in. It is going to make it slippery like it should be.
Right. And much
Yay!
easier. Yeah.
And and this is where communication is really key. You know, if you need more lubricant, you need, you can tell your partner more lubricant is needed.
Yeah.
So definitely a key. One other thing too, just in regards to anal sex and safety, is it's generally recommended to go very, very slowly, and it's about an inch per minute. So
That's interesting.
you
Okay.
go very slowly to ensure, just to allow that relaxation to really come in,
Calm it down.
just relax, get accustomed to it. It's a very intimate act, honestly.
Yes.
Like, this is something that, honestly, like for couples that want to take something, take their intimacy to the next level. I mean, this is super intimate. This is very, it's putting a lot of
Because
trust in the partner.
you're working together slowly. It's not a fast hurry,
No.
hurry. This is not this kind of thing. It's
Not porn.
Slow. Yes.
Yes.
Slow.
Slow.
Working together. Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't suggest, personally, my personal opinion, but can you hear any noise?
I did a little bit, but not much.
Okay, cool. So we'll just continue. Sorry for the noise. I have tree cutters today. So anyway, but that's not where we want to start with the play, though. You don't want to start an anal, okay? We need to start in other areas to work it up, to get to that point where she's hot, heavy, juicy, excited, wanting more. Because then when you get down there and you're doing your thing.
I mean, foreplay is always important.
Okay.
Foreplay is always important, and you definitely want to have your female partner, anybody with a vagina, you want to have them very, very relaxed, very, very turned on, very, very. Absolutely. Foreplay is absolutely key. Like you don't skimp when it comes to, you cannot skimp. If you want anal, like you cannot skimp on any of
foreplay. Like do whatever you need to figure out her design of what makes her turned on, the room, the ambiance, the whatever. It might take 30 to 40 minutes to get to that place, but you bet you work that up.
And it might not be the first time, you're going to start off gradually, it's, maybe you are just starting off a little bit of fingering. Maybe you are starting off with like playing with a toy, and just kind of rubbing, just kind of, putting it along the outside, the perimeter, and just, gradually, getting those nerve, because the anus has some very rich nerve endings. So, I mean, you can start with, small and build your way up to it. There's just the tip.
And that's really good that you said that, because I think that let's just be clear, some guy's mind, the minute the girl goes, yeah, let's do anal, that's happening that night. All right. It's happening and that's it. And let's just be clear. You're right. It's not. If you're just starting out and doing that play, it's going to be possibly it might not happen that night, like you said.
It might not, I mean,
and using
it really truly is, about just making sure that your partner is ready and making sure that they are relaxed and making sure that they do understand that, that it's, it's intimate, you're listening to them, you're having that trust. And yes, absolutely. So.
I from you, because we've worked together now for a couple years, 3 years ish. Somebody came to me, somebody came to me and wanted to do anal and was afraid because they were extremely tight and wanted to get it looser. And so Pure Romance, I actually ordered it for them. And Pure Romance has a kit. It's like 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. Where it's a gradual, you can insert
trainer.
It's a trainer. Thank you. That's what they're called. So you
kits.
can do trainers. So I'm like, I didn't know what they're called, but you can do trainers and whatnot, right? So those are things that you can do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
And the other thing, just to kind of, I don't know. I think it's every I think girls like the idea of a double penetration. So if your man is a big guy and you're like, there's no fucking way that his cock is going in my butt, then maybe do a strap on and have something go in your butt. I mean, you could do that stuff. I mean, it's
The
something.
other thing that you can do with that situation is you can actually use a male sleeve and put it
Oh,
on him. And if it's as long as it's open ended, you need an open ended one, both ends. You can
right.
put it on him, and then just get the little bit.
Oh,
Because it'll be a cushion and it'll prevent him from actually putting the whole thing in.
oh, wow. I never, that's awesome. See, ladies, there's so many things out
There's
there.
things we can, yes,
There's,
there are things you can do
okay.
to make it more comfortable, for sure.
Exactly. And he's still getting that control and being able to play with it and all of that, which is awesome. Oh my God, that's a good one. Okay, so that's good.
So
So
let's talk
go
about
ahead.
toys though, real quick. Since you brought up toys, let's just talk
Yeah.
about toys and safety.
Yes.
Because
Yes. Okay,
I
good.
I don't want any of our listeners here to end up in the hospital, in the emergency room, because people end up there, y'all. The stories that you hear, sex sent me to the ER, whatever, the stories you hear are true.
100%.
So here's the deal. Number one, rule of thumb with any toys and any anal play. Whatever you are playing with needs to have either a flat bottom or it needs to have a string. The reason being is that sphincter muscle that's keeping everything up, it actually will suck up what you put in there. So people that end up in the emergency room with, flashlights and shot glasses and gerbils and light bulbs. And I read a story about an electric eel once that somebody decided
No.
they needed an electric eel. Surgery was performed. The eel and the person were okay. Just saying.
It's the reality.
People are
Thank
doing
you.
it. So just on that note, I mean, that's just to say people like it. I mean, look what they're doing for it. So can we talk about men now? Let's talk about
Oh
men.
no, I'm
We
so
talked
excited.
about women. So, and you asked, you also asked actually, like what do women get out of it, like the pleasure wise. So the one
Yes,
thing that I
please.
want
Let's
to,
firm that up. I want women to enjoy this because
yeah.
it is, and you and I enjoy it, and we know because we passed through that PTSD, but we got to get the other woman past that PTSD point.
So here's the thing, the clitoris. What we know of the clitoris, like here's my little vagina model here. So this is the clitoris, right? This is the clitoris that you see. This is the part of the clitoris that you see. The part of the clitoris that you don't see is internal. And when we become aroused, the clitoris is made up of the same tissues that a penis is made up of.
And
And
actually can look like one.
And when we become aroused, ladies, those of you with the clitoris, it becomes aroused. And fun fact, your clitoris might be bigger than his penis. Just saying. Comparison. There's something to compare.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
mine is bigger than yours, right? So,
Oh my God, that's hilarious because it's true. I mean, I've seen
right.
some pictures of them and they're huge.
And they are behind. So, what's really scary, and we'll talk about this another day when we talk about the clitoris, but what's really scary though is that the clitoris really is, it's behind, it sits behind the labia, it sits behind, it really engorges that whole entire area. So anal play is just getting another, it's another part, just like you like doggy style versus missionary versus cowgirl versus upside down, whatever, however you like, whatever your favorite position is. It's
Yeah.
just a different penetration and it's
Love
just
it.
hitting a different spot. And as you mentioned, double penetration is very popular because then you get that clitoral vaginal stimulation at the same time that you're getting that anal stimulation. Like all of it is stimulated, and holy cow, you can have a magnificent orgasm. So let's talk about men.
Okay, hold on. Let me just wrap that up with the female. So, women, just imagine having something even better than the clitoral and the internal orgasm. Just imagine it being even better. And so if you can think of it that it can even be better, then maybe you'll try it. So just at least try it once. I always say to people, try it once. Okay.
Well,
You don't have to
like as long as your partner is, as long as you have a partner that's going to take care of you properly and you have that communication and trust, why not? It's better than the slip up. It's not like the slip up at all. The slip up you're not prepared for, and it hurts because it's not meant to happen.
It does. I mean, there's
happen.
just no doubt about it. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the men because
let's talk about men.
I love it. And here's the thing. It's not just for heterosexual or for gay men, as everyone thinks. So let's just get into this men thing because they need to get that prostate cleaned out.
Well, and I will say, just to be whatever for any of the guys, like for a myth, sure one of the myths here that's a very popular myth is like, oh, anal sex is, I'm not gay, I'm not homosexual. Well, I just want you to look at the partner that you're with and make that determination and just say, well, I mean, because if you are a male and you are with a female in a heterosexual relationship and you're doing this with a female, I mean, that's not the definition of homosexual.
But I think it's just that stigma of like.
But it's a stigma, that
the minute you put something in your butt as a heterosexual male,
that makes
it
you
equals gay. And that is a fucking myth.
True. That's not true.
So not true.
Right. And you can try it and, and if you look at your best friend differently, I mean, I guess, but I mean, that's not true. So
here's what I want to say. All the studies and the research I've done, because you know me, I am the one who talks about prostate massages on a weekly basis for men. And because I did because you were the one who taught me about the vagina, the clitoris, getting the vibrator in the vagina. So I took the research a little further and went to the massagers in the anus and what that does for men. And with men having 40% of men having prostate cancer. And one of the biggest reasons is because they're not clearing out their prostate with all the fluid that's in there.
Interestingly enough, it's funny that you say that because there is actually, while it's not scientifically proven that prostate massage can prevent prostate cancer, there is work done that shows in Japan there's a subsection of men that do that and they have significantly lower numbers. So
huge numbers lower.
Yes.
And you're right. And I have these research studies on my Reddit. So if you want to read about it, I have that Japan story. I have the other ones about prostate massage because I talk about it. I even talked about it to my dad who's 80.
And it's important though.
My dad said, really? He's doing it. So I'm like, my dad is 80 and doing it. Okay.
Well, and you know what? And here's the thing, as men get older, they have more issues with their prostate. They do. There's a lot of issues that happen with the prostate. And a lot of the treatments for them is prostate massage. That's going to alleviate. If you have a large prostate massage. If you have prostatitis, prostate massage. If you have prostate cancer, prostate massage. So everything kind of comes down to this prostate massage. So can we talk about prostate massage for a second, gentlemen? I just want to say,
because it's so good.
Here's the thing. This is really truly, I think what it comes down to is, guys have that locker room talk. Like everybody's got that. Every guy has that friend, right? That, that this girl stuck her finger. She was giving me a blowjob and like she stuck a finger and all of a sudden like, oh my God, and
amazing.
It's just this crazy orgasm. Well, the thing about prostate massage is that it does completely expel everything out, but it increases that orgasm like 8 times. 8 times, gentlemen. 8 times. You can have an 8 times stronger orgasm. Ladies, if you're looking to get your men to, do this, I look at it as turnabout as fair play. Yes. Very, very healthy for him. And bonus for him, he gets to use his favorite toy for longer.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
And he was playing with it in the womb. So just to say how excited he is about it, they have the little fetuses playing with their little penises in the womb. So they've been
Yeah.
playing with this forever. Baby boys put their hand down their diaper. They're thinking, no, moms no.
Moms
So,
know. We had
moms
boys, so we
no.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a forever and ever thing. You know, like this is their favorite body part, ladies. Little prostate massage. And he can use his
Exactly.
favorite toy forever. And he gets an orgasm that's 8 times stronger.
It's the most amazing orgasm.
I kind of feel like it's almost not fair. Like, you know, I mean, it's entertaining that it's in their butt. I will say that. Like, I thank you to the powers that be, because I mean, you know, we get the clitoris, which is only here for our enjoyment and, you know, the wonderfulness of that. But you know, guys get it made. They don't have to go through childbirth. They can have an 8 times stronger orgasm by just massaging the prostate.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems kind of no-brainer.
And when you're doing that, let's just talk about, because it's not that far in, you got to make sure you're doing it right. When I was doing the research on that too, it's like it's only like 2 centimeters inside the anus. Yeah, and it's the size of a walnut, and you know, a little bit of, you know, if you want to do a finger or the vibration works. And the other thing I read, because as you say, you know, Japan is doing it. It's very common. I had men going, I want one of those. And so I started doing some research and found out that the the massage parlors will actually do a prostate massage because they don't look at it as sexual, because they're not touching the penis. And so you can actually ask for a prostate massage at a massage parlor. Some of them will do that for you. So you could actually just, right? Exactly. So, and it's not sexual.
Right.
It's considered healthy. It's considered healthy by releasing that.
Hey, women used to go to the doctor for treatments for hysteria. So I mean,
and they used to use a vibrator on her.
That's how we got the vibrator. So I mean, you know, it was all because of a little carpal tunnel.
Exactly, right? So no, I love taking that stigmatization away from certain things. The other thing that can be playful and fun that I have heard of couples doing is the female wearing a strap on.
Yep, pegging.
Sometimes that's a fantasy of men. Mm-hmm. It's a different type of you know, dominance kind of thing, some kind of whatever. And I don't know. I mean, I've talked to people, they like to do that kind of stuff. So I think it's all over the place. And like I said, nothing's weird, because I think so long as you're both 2 consenting adults, yes, and you're enjoying each other and you're not being horribly disgusting with each other, then it's good.
Yeah.
It can be
amazing.
I mean,
as long as you're consenting and it's okay with you, anything can go. I mean, you know, I feel like as long as it's legal and consenting, I mean, you know, so we'll go with
I love it.
Just for kicks. But you know, and 2 consenting adults. I mean,
that's right.
Whatever you want to explore. I mean, I think that, you know, we're adults, you know, we get to play. This is how we play.
It's our playground.
It's our playground.
All right.
We play.
So, any more last minute words that you want to say about anal? We've done, like, you know, like we said, we were going to do like 40 minutes of it. I think we've covered some really good topics and some variations.
Yeah, we talked about some fun myths, and it's been a lot. Yeah, I think we've had a really great conversation about backdoor play.
I think it's been really good, and you made it so the way that you communicate, it's like you make it so it's not uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, it's not nasty. It's not dirty. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right. And you make it so it's like it's good. It's fun to play with each other, and let's play. Yeah. So anyways,
it's important to play together. I mean, it's important for couples to play. It is important for partners. Like, it's very important for you to explore each other and play. That's
Yeah,
what keeps your
exactly.
relationship healthy. That's what relieves the stress. That's what you work for. Come on, everything comes down to sex, right? You know, we work hard so that we can play hard, and playing hard includes in the bedroom.
Well, as they say, the two things that we are innate about: sex, food. We need food and we need sex. So if people could just get their heads around those kinds of things, I mean, I didn't make this up, okay? This is not
Not today.
made up. So, but anyway, so yeah, food and sex. So let's get our heads around talking about it and enjoying it. And if we're not with partners that we're not enjoying, let's find a way to do it. Go to Shiloh. She does couples coaching. Keep coming here to learn more. We'll love to have you back. So next week we're doing B,
The
right?
BDSM.
BDSM.
I
Oh, I
know,
love
right?
it.
I know.
I
I'm
love it.
excited. I'm so excited
I
to
am
talk about that.
too. I love
That's
that
gonna
one.
be fun. There's a lot to cover within that. We're never gonna cover all that. We're definitely gonna have to do an ABCs of BDSM. So,
Oh gosh, totally. So
right? I
that'll
mean, I
be
could see
super
that
fun.
happening. Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Well, thank you, Shiloh, for joining me. I will see you back next week for some more sex talk A to Z.
Thanks, Stephanie, for having me. Bye,
All
everybody.
right. Bye.